Hey there, Kim Coles here, and I get so excited when I get a chance to talk to one of these beautiful authors of the beautiful Wisdom Gifts 2 book. Right now, we have another amazing woman who's going to tell her story. Please welcome to the stage, Crystal Lewis. Hello, Crystal.
Hello, Kim. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm excited to be with you, and thank you for this process of writing this chapter and being part of your wonderful book.
Happy to have you. And I'll go ahead and tell the audience the cool thing about you is when I launched this out into the world, your chapter was the first to come in. You were like, let's dive in. People, they kind of tiptoe in a little bit, and hopefully I make it easy for you to step in. But you were like, here's my chapter. I was like, wow, she is ready to tell and ready to share. So what is it about you that says that you're just ready to share your testimony with the world?
Well, I didn't want to make the commitment of working with how fabulous you are if I didn't already have something in mind that I wanted to say. And I started out it being more of my origin story about being adopted and things of that nature, and the different things that I experienced being adopted. Actually, second generation adopted because my biological mother was adopted as well, and the family that adopted her adopted me. So I had that in mind, and I was thinking, I'll tell this story and leave it for my children, and it'll be great. But it moved over into talking about the financial coaching that I do and talking about my origins as far as feeling empowered financially and how much I loved having access to money and being able to do the things that I needed to do to take care of myself.
What an incredible journey it is. When you first told me your story, being adopted and your mom was adopted and you were adopted by the family who adopted her. For so many people, the story would stop there. The story of trauma or questions or all of that would just stop there. But you've created this incredible life and incredible journey for other people to take as well. So I just want to thank you for being so vulnerable and open and generous in that way. And what was it along the way that kept you going as you were discovering, all of these things about you and about your origin story?
Yeah, definitely. So thankfully, I was taken to church at an early age, so faith is a big part of my story, and I believe that that's what helped me through the years, helped me tell the story, but not, and also come through the years the different challenges that I faced being adopted, and I was able to look to the Bible and find my identity as a believer in Jesus Christ, and I think that ultimately what mattered. And so I didn't focus on the negative, but I focused more so on who I am as a person of faith and what that means and the contribution that I can make to the world.
And what a contribution you make, madam, because the next part of the journey that I began to understand, and everybody will when they read this book, is then your journey towards financial freedom. And again, I see you as someone, and I'm going to spoiler alert, not only does she, take on financial freedom beautifully for herself, but then she goes to coach other people. But let's just start with you. What is your journey to understanding the power of financial wealth, not even financial health, before we even get to the wealth piece of it? Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. I think that we can often find ourselves in negative situations, whether it's a negative relationship or a negative work situation. So I believe that being financially aware and financially healthy allows you to have options, right? We don't want to stay in situations where we feel we're treated poorly. So we want to have the resources that we need to help ourselves and those that we love so that we can take the steps that we need to be our best possible selves. So that's what I would say in terms of the importance.
Got you. I didn't mean to cut you off, but there was a moment, there was an aha that you had that just sort of started that started you on that journey and that realization. What was that moment where you realized that, oh no, I really need to be financially secure?
Definitely. Great question. So, because of some different abuse situations that I experienced in my adoptive home, I found myself as an independent college student. And as a result, I realized, okay, I have to figure out this college thing. But also, even after college, I need to figure out what I'm going to do with my life and how I'm going to take care of myself and eventually, of course, my family and my children and things of that nature. It can get challenging. It's with rent and all the groceries and all the different prices that we're and inflation that we're facing. It's different now than it was when I was in college many years ago. But just facing that as an independent student, being able to tell some of the experiences that I had, taking on student loans and things like that, just really understanding that I was going to need to be able to look at the financial picture and make it better for myself if I want to prosper.
Right. When did you discover that you were good at looking at that? Because I think so many of us, me included, like, I will, I have many times in my life put my head right on in the sand because there's too many numbers and too many things. And how do I move things around? And how did you find out that you were good at not only looking at it, but assessing what it was and then putting things in place to fix it for yourself?
Yeah, great. So it helped that my first job out of college was in banking, right? So that helped a lot because I was immediately immersed into the culture. And then we would have our investment professionals come in, and I would see what they would do, and how they would interact with clients. And I just said, I could do that too. And so it was just something that I was naturally drawn to starting out in banking. And over the years, I've had the opportunity to work in financial aid and credit services. So it seemed like everything I did was in the financial sector, which allowed me to build knowledge that could help not only myself, but others as well.
Okay, so let's talk about the moment that you decided to help others as well. So now you got yourself on an even keel, or you figured out the numbers, or you got yourself on a plan. What was that moment like for you when you were like, no, I need to go and help others? And in particular, women, because you really focus on helping women. What was that moment for you that you said, I can use my gifts in this way?
Yeah, my portfolio began to grow. I began to get out of debt here within the last couple of years, and I began to have some property paid for, and all these big accomplishments that I began to accomplish financially. And I said to myself, I can help other people do this too. Now that I've accomplished these things, perhaps it's time to share that experience and maybe other people of getting out of debt or paying off a property or paying off student loans. And so, as I had success, I decided to reach out and help others as well.
Does it make you feel when you see someone, when the lights come on, and I don't mean the lights in her house, I mean the light on her on her financial healing journey? How does that make you feel?
It's it just makes me so excited to see that light bulb come on, where you can be more independent, you can be more empowered to make the choices that are going to best suit you, whatever that looks like. And it's not something we have to depend on our fathers or our brothers or our husbands. We can do it too. When you empower women, finally, they often are the ones taking care of the family. They're giving to the community. As we accomplish financial freedom, that we also help not only our own families, but our community as well, so that we're creating a legacy that goes on and on.
So do you see this kind of work as being healing as well?
Definitely, definitely. I mean, I don't know if you would agree with me, but there's nothing fun about poverty and lack, right? Nothing, no quicker way to the depression or to the therapist's office than poverty and lack. So I feel like this is just one area that we address if we address the emotions and the mindsets and the experiences. As we change, everything around us begins to change.
Is there any tip or key or some sort of nugget that you can drop for us right now that would be a great way to go from that poverty mindset to even, listen, I don't know if you can go from poverty to $1 billion in the bank in like one fell, like 1 second, but there is a moment that happens over here that will lead to that being able to happen. Is there something that you can give us right now that we can take to heart and put in action?
Yeah, begin to visualize it. Begin to visualize you making that last mortgage payment or paying off that debt. For me, I wrote my children each $1 million check. I mean, I literally wrote the check because when you can visualize it and then you put action behind it, then you're creating momentum, which creates results. And all that is triggering in your mind to where you are actually beginning to believe that this is something that you can do. Maybe you can't pay off the mortgage right now, but go ahead and write the check, and just go through the motions, envision yourself doing it. And as you take those small steps, your commitment will grow to make that progress.
All right. So we envision it. So I may not, what if I don't believe that I can pay off this
Yeah.
mortgage yet? But you're saying to just keep taking those steps and you will begin to believe it, and then you'll begin to take those action steps to move forward.
Exactly. Allow your desire to fuel you to begin to take steps. And then the more you take steps, the more you will begin to believe that you can do it. So maybe you can't pay off the full credit card balance, but you can put an extra $100. So you start with the $100 and you just begin to build that momentum and believe more and more as you do the little things.
Do you think
Hope that helps. I hope that made sense.
it does? And let me ask you this: do you feel that sacrifice is needed in order to make to get you to where you need to go?
I think that at times it is, but when you're looking at the larger goal, it doesn't feel like a sacrifice because you see the end in mind, and you
Hmm.
know that it's just one step toward the larger goal.
Beautiful.
So, maybe like if you're like me, I like to eat out, right? So that's a struggle area. So I tend to cut back in areas as it relates to transportation or housing, but I eat what I want to eat. So, everybody has their things that they like. So just decide what is important to you. And then the things that you can compromise on, do that. And those that you don't want to compromise on or sacrifice with, you don't have to.
I love that because you're giving us permission to have a full, rich life. So it doesn't have to be dire and dark as you're on your way to this wealth and abundance. So I love that you're telling us that we can make decisions and create. So it seems like you are saying that we really can just create a plan for ourselves and decide towards the desire.
Absolutely. And that plan is going to be just as unique as you are. So I don't really believe in cookie cutter things. I believe in down heart to heart and just having that discussion and deciding what is really important. And that's not my job. That my job is to facilitate the process, but whoever I'm working with, they determine what's important to them.
What has sharing your testimony, sharing your story in the Wisdom Gifts book done for you? What has it opened up for you or changed for you or given you a new vision or a new outlook? Like, what has it done for you? Because, like I said, you jumped in full force, full feet, like, I'm in it, let's go. What has this experience opened up for you, changed for you, had you take a new look at?
Yeah. Well, kudos to you, Kim, because I knew even at the start, and I remember telling you, this is going to be a healing journey, right? And I'm a financial healing coach. So I knew that putting my story on paper would open up some things for me, even some difficult things. And that sure enough happened because as I was telling my story about my upbringing and talking about feeling unsafe and unloved, I had to admit that even in my own marriage, 23-year marriage, I was having some of those same feelings. And so I made a decision to walk away from that relationship. And I believe that it was a result of working with you and the power of telling the story and admitting to myself, okay, I didn't feel loved, I didn't feel safe, but then I was able to admit it on a larger and more present level. And I believe as I heal, I will be able to help others heal too. So that is the goal.
For sure. Thank you for sharing that with us, and again, thank you for your vulnerability and your generosity, and for your honesty. One of the things I've found on my own financial journey, because I've had my issues with it too, and I've been open about sharing about my journey with spending too much and not thinking I was worthy and whatever that is, and I had to go on a healing journey myself. And I think that sharing our story with others helps others see themselves in us And so your journey and your testimony will absolutely help someone reading it and going, oh, I'm going through that too. And if she went through that, if she can, find herself towards healing, then so can I. So there's that. And I'll say that everyone deserves to feel loved and safe. And I think money is one of those things that if you don't have enough of it, you don't feel safe. You don't feel worthy. It's interesting to hear it as you were telling the story about money and your journey, and you were opened and present to it in your relationship as well. So thank you for being willing to go on the journey. How are you doing now? Let's ask you that. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I've transitioned and moved and just tried to. It's about an hour and a half away from where I was, so I'm just trying to get everything organized and just come into a new routine and a new phase of life. So I'm excited. I'm excited, and I don't know if it showed, but as I was writing my story, I kind of fought the journey the entire way. so, so for any that would be hesitant or shy or afraid, just go into your fear, just tell your story, just take it step by step. Even if you don't, it appears dark before you, you don't even know the next step to take. Just begin to put the words on paper and reach out for help, which you are always available. So I just can't say enough, and I can't, say thank you enough.
Well, you're more than welcome, and my pleasure. And thank you for being willing to share your journey. As you were writing, I could tell that there was something more. I didn't know what the more was, but I could tell there was something more. And as your first draft and your second draft and the next draft came out, each time there was a little bit more to share, a little bit more. I didn't know this piece of it, but to know that you kept opening up and allowing the process to process. And I'm sure that that's how you work with your clients, because they come to you with holding on to, I don't know what this is, I don't know what to do. And you, like you said, you facilitate the healing. And I think that's what we're all here to do. So thank you for answering the call that the creator put into your life to stand in that space of facilitating for others. So from one facilitator to another, we're helping to heal each other, right?
That's right. That's right. Definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Are there any other parting words you would have for us that give us a bit of your wisdom, a bit of something that we need to know in order to continue to stay on our healing path?
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy to sweep things under the rug. If you're struggling financially or if you're having any type of struggle, it's so easy just to continue in the same patterns day after day. But I encourage you to reach out to someone like myself or like Kim and just begin to peel the layers back and talk about what you've experienced. Talk about what you're going through and why you do the things you do. And I guarantee you, healing will happen. So I just leave that as the encouraging word, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity.
Thank you, Crystal. You are shining brightly as your name and as your gift shines within you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in, and thank you, Crystal Lewis, for your wisdom.